recording now? Yes, absolutely. Tim Ritchie, I've been following him for quite some time, and here you go. I'm gonna move mine over here. Do you want to plug this in here? Is it the same charger? Okay. You good? Okay. I have been following him for a while because he piqued my curiosity about his talks at commissioners meeting and so on, and so I invited him in to talk about what it is he actually is working so hard to accomplish here. You're gonna want to click on that screen thing right down there, the full screen. Next one, that one, yeah, that blows it up to the, supposed to, yeah, here we go. So please give a warm welcome to Tim Ritchie. Normally for when we have candidates in, our protocol is to have a bunch of questions from the club and send the remaining questions to the candidate. That is because it's a candidate for office. That's because we're vetting them. We want to know how well they stand with the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of Florida. Tim Ritchie is not a candidate, so I'm not going to hammer him like I oftentimes do.
Thank you.
So please welcome Tim Ritchie.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's really nice to have the commission here. It's really nice to have Vice Mayor Jenny Polk here. And it's also really nice. It's the first time I've ever met Captain John Phillips, so I really appreciate you coming down here. I've been doing this now for 8 years, and this all started for me.
Speak up.
This all started on July 24th, 2018, on Tuesday out in DeSoto County. As you see, this is the Charlotte Harbor estuary. And here we are. This is our beautiful Charlotte Harbor. This is the Peace River. This is the Mayaca River. Now you see where Manatee is? You see these green, can you see this lightly shaded green area here? This whole area, and then all the way up here. So we have Lake Hancock. This is where our water starts for the Peace River. A lot of people are under the assumption that phosphate mining only is happening on this side of the Peace River. And for the most part, that's true. But we have up here, Mosaic right here. You can see the green shine, this whole area. This is Mosaic Fort Meade. And where does the city of Punta Gorda's water come from? The other side of the Peace River, from Shell Creek. Now, we have a lot of highly educated people in our country, from college. I have a lot of friends of mine that went to the University of Southern California and UCLA, and they've never used their degree. Not once in their life. I'll get to those. This was the first time I ever flew up here. I left the Punta Gorda airport. So as I'm flying up here, we pass limestone. Now, what does our government monitor? Air, land, and water. Now, when you are driving up 17, if you get to limestone, you can start to notice the change in the trees. Look at the tree tops. Look at the color of all of the plants around you. And as you can see, we turned left here. We're heading up over to Ona. And here's Mayaca Head. This is you, Captain John. This is where Garrett Ramey is. And then we come up over here, we've got Mosaic Fort Greene, we've got Duet. All of this area, and by the way, when you're in an airplane, you always know you're constantly looking out this way. What are we looking for? Birds. Well, let me tell you, when you get up here, there's no birds. And I found out the hard way. It is hard for me to believe. So this is Mosaic River view, okay? This is the big giant gypstack when we're all driving north on the 75 that we see that big gray nasty thing. Well, they like to tell us it's slightly radioactive. I asked John Coates, head bulldog at FDEP, did Mrs. Coates come home and say she was slightly pregnant? Now, I want you to recognize this, the Alafia River. This is very serious because we've got Tampa Bay and Charlotte Harbor. Mosaic is utilizing the Alafia, the Little Manatee, Mayaka, and Peace River. These are the 5 main watersheds for all of our lives, our animals. What is something we have in common? All of the seagrass is dying in Tampa Bay and Hillsborough. All of the seagrass is dying in Charlotte Harbor. It's dying in all these rivers. And there's one common connection. See these wonderful beneficiation plates. This is a clay settling area. Okay? These things are almost 500 feet tall. 500 feet tall. This is probably around 700, 800 acres in circumference, just to give you an idea. And Mosaic likes to tell us, this is Mosaic Plant City, okay? This was to be shuttered numerous times. 4.5 years ago, I filed an administrative hearing against Florida Department of Environmental Protection in Mosaic, Bartow Chemical Plant NPDES permit. Why? Because at the time they were only discharging 2.6 million gallons every day from this gypstack. And they would go down outfall D002 and bang, go into the Peace River. They were coming to renew this permit. They do it every 5 years. But they were coming to also do something called modifying it. This is the Mosaic New Wales gypstack. This is the clay settling area. I want you guys to understand I'm maybe 650 feet in the air in the cockpit of the airplane. This is a canyon, guys. A canyon full of blended acidic, radioactive, chemically laden wastewater that filters through these clay settling areas and these gypstacks. And Mosaic tells me all the time, it's so clean, it's so safe, you could drink a glass. 3 challenges, meet me. I could get any reporter. You get the first glass, I'll drink the second one. They have never taken me up on it. By the way, this is where they're doing the test for the radioactive roads. And I gotta tell you something, guys. Look at this thing. This is the acid plant. Behind here is another acid plant. I made the grave mistake of opening the little tiny window in the Piper Cub I was in. And this thing was made for the big fat cats. It had a cigar lighter on the dash. You know, it was like a 67. But I opened that up because I wanted to get a good shot. Well, I got a whiff of the air, and it burned me. I mean, I had to go get lung treatments. I talked like this for 2 weeks. It was scary. And that's when I realized, and this here, this yellow powder is sulfuric acid that Mosaic produces. And what do? They go take that and they sprinkle it outside on top of the land. And then they go out there with the water cannons. And they're going to blend the matrix. And what is the matrix? It's sand, rock, and clay. Now Mosaic, and I found this out on Wednesday, February 18th up in Manatee County, because I was up there testifying against the Mosaic Four Corners line. 60,000 acres. Covers 4 counties, everybody. The beneficiation plant is on Manatee and Hardy County's line. This all is far more serious than most people want to expect it to be. This is 1994. This is this right here. This gyp stack is this same gyp stack right here. And in 1994, a 15-story deep sinkhole opened 80 million gallons. Look at the helicopter, Commish. That is, look at that. He could have taken that right down that hole. Okay, guess what? It happened again in 2016. And it happened 6 months after Mosaic received a $1.8 billion environmental fine for improper storage. 6 of our facilities up the Peace River and 2 of them in Louisiana. Just look at this thing. And I gotta tell you right now, I'm pretty sure that I photographed last year. Here it is. This is when they filled it in. Look at these trucks. And I gotta tell you, here we are. Here's the filled sinkhole I just showed you in the photo before. And here's the void. They went in to Oculus, the FDE database. I used to be able to go on there. I only knew 3 or 4 people. These 2 really smart attorneys, these girls. They are smart, let me tell you. And 1 other lady. And I would go in there, and somehow my brain was able to lock in how to get documents. And thank God I printed a lot of them, and I have a library of it, because they've shut it down. They don't want you to be able to get the NPDES permit. Imagine that. They don't want us to read their permit because I used their documents in my lawsuit. Pissed their attorney off really bad. He said, what? I said, well, what better stuff to use than your documents? Because I'm telling you, all of this stuff's incorrect. All your numbers, all of your environmental everything is way off. I said in the studies that your guys did back in 2004, 2010, your actuaries were really, really off. And if they weren't, sir, do you think all the seagrass would be dying in all of these? What's the one common denominator? Senator Albritton put his cards on the table one day. He said, oh, Tim, I want to tell you, it's all septic leaching, killing all your seagrass, son. I said, well, listen here, big hoss. I highly disagree with you. I got a lot of environmental attorneys and scientists that will just tell you you're wrong. So I want to tell all of you right now, as you watch and you look at all this stuff, because I'm going to speed through this. This here, this one I'm showing you right now, last year, I flew over. This is the Mosaic Green Bay facility. And this clay settling area up here, I'm flying over and imagine, I see it's gone. Poof! Well, what did they do with all that material? One of our colleges did a study with Mosaic. What do you think they did that study for? To see what was left in that clay settling area. What heavy metals didn't they get? And they're going to run that stuff through again, process it. When they process it a second time, it is far worse than the first time they're processing it. And so what is going on up there? It made me really start researching all kinds of stuff. And I thought to myself, this one right here, this whole thing here is gone, guys. Oh, by the way, that big one in the background, so this is Mosaic Green Bay. There's that beautiful Mosaic South Bartow gyp stack. I want you all to realize the chemical plant is right over here. So what they do is they discharge and they come down this area right here. It comes down here, and this, by the way, where my finger is, this is called Cedar Branch. This is a class 3 wetland. Comes all the way to here, comes down here, bang, goes into a ditch, goes down, discharges to an unnamed ditch, then to 6 Mile Creek, then to Peace River, class 3 fresh waters. Now, people just couldn't believe that I was so shocked by all of this. But I truly have to tell you, when I kept searching more and more, and here they are doing aeration in Mosaic Green Bay. Why are they doing it? They're trying to get it to dissipate in the air. evaporate. Yeah, and then the wind blows. And this here is the Mosaic Green Bay. My best friend, if I were to call Frank right now and say, Frankie, we're going for a ride on Bonnie Mine Road, you would hear him go, no, 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 I don't want to go back. I said, I thought you loved that road. You guys, you can't even imagine. And this is really nothing. I really want to show. Okay, so here. See all these highlighted guys? These are test wells. This is the Mosaic Bartow gypstack. This is the Green Bay gypstack. By the way, everybody, they just built a new outfall D005 at the Green Bay gypstack. Guess where it's discharging into? Oh, our Peace River. Our river. Our harbor. Now, I'm going to talk about oh, here we are. Who's this fella? Mr. Ritchie, Punta Gorda, left. Listens, this is a super young man. But I'm questioning about the elevated levels of alpha particulate radiation in the test wells. You know how many people have said, oh, Tim Ritchie, he's a radical, he's crazy, he's this and that. You know, I want to tell you right now, I got an education from one of the greatest minds in this country, a management consultant, an Ivy League, a brilliant genius. So you don't have a college degree, that's just fine with me. This is the Mosaic North gypstack, and what I started learning when I took this was they all have different colors. This is really important, John, because they're making different types of synthetic fertilizer. And guess what? From Tampa Bay to Charlotte Harbor, the Alafaya, with a little manatee, Mayak, and Peace, guess what? They're all different color. They're different color to correlate to which one of these toxic pollutions is discharging from these outfalls into these rivers. And just so you know, I went through a long deposition with a fella by the name Super Attorney Gary Perko of Hopping Green and Sands. Now, what I want you all to understand is this, is they gave me a judge, a nice lady. She was working with us. And one day all of a sudden, I have a new judge. Her name is Judge Francine Folks. And guess where she used to work? She used to work for, okay, get ready for this. She worked with, okay, she was the lady at Florida Department of Environmental Protection that used to sign the tickets for the phosphate mines. And who did they work hand in hand with? Hopping Green and Sam. What I learned is this administrative hearing, it's an institution. And I came up with a phrase, I coined it, it's one of them. It all starts and ends in the commissioner chambers or the city council chambers. Then we get it kicked up to the legislative delegation level. Now I want you all to know that I told Rep. Danny Nix and Rep. Vanessa Oliver, and at that time Senator Al Britton was not at the meeting, but I informed them, and not only me, but Dr. Richard Pitts of Healer Harbor stated the Peace River is dying. Now, I'd been telling people that for 2 years previously, but I finally had a scientist, credibility. And do you want to know what happened in that time period? I was so fortunate that I had a lady by the name of Debbie Lux run for City Council of Punta Gorda. I actually had somebody who I knew had a brain between her ears and was intelligent. Very smart lady. And you know what? We worked hard, a lot of us, to help get her elected, and boy, she did. And then we had another miracle happen. We had 3 other candidates get elected, and we all worked so hard to get them elected, and I can tell you truthfully, I am very grateful for all of them, but especially 2 of them. And I really mean that. And this is where I'm going to talk about local politics right now. I want you all to know that last year, Senator Ben Albritton paid me one of the largest compliments I had in my entire time of doing environmental advocacy. And if you knew anything about Senator Ben Albritton and myself, you would know that 4.5 years ago, Senator Albritton personally attacked me and ostracized me for 5.5 minutes at a legislative delegation meeting. And luckily, Rep. Grant was kind enough to let me have the microphone to reply to him, and I basically told Senator Albritton, you know, in the state of affairs in this country right now and what's going on in our college campuses, I'm glad to say I don't have a college degree. And any day and any time you want Senator Albritton, because you're so smart and I'm so stupid, I challenge you to an IQ test. I chased him for a year. He wouldn't take it. He wouldn't let me hook him on the back of my dad's boat, the Diamond Lil. Man, I wanted to hook that big black marlin, man. You have no idea. And he and I made nice because he realized that I'm not a stupid idiot. And I'm also not going to be intimidated or threatened or bullied by anybody on this planet except for my mother.
She does a good job.
She's pretty awesome. So I want you to know this right now. Last Wednesday on February 18th in Manatee County, Mosaic was coming back for the Mosaic Four Corners mine to get a 14-year extension, everybody. They already have 4 more years already on their master mining plan. What's the hurry? I'll tell you what the hurry is. The hurry is that these guys, remember that thing I showed you, the big squares? This is polluting and contaminating our water, Vice Mayor. This is nasty, nasty stuff. And so here, we're just going to quickly speed it up here. Look at all that phosphate. You know what this phosphate does? This phosphate makes the CCP's soldiers stronger to kill our soldiers. Now, I was raised a Republican. My dad was all about Dick Nixon, okay? And if my dad were alive today, he would be having a heart attack because Watergate was baby play compared to what's going on today. Okay? I mean, it was, so I was fortunate enough to, I'll say this, my parents' house address was 16677. I'll never forget the day I came home and I told my dad, Dad, you're going to be so happy when I tell you this. He said, what? I said, President Reagan's address is 1667, Amalfi Drive. He goes, are you kidding me? I go, no. He goes, let's get in the car. I want to. So, you know, I tell people this, that Republicans and Democrats have more in common than all of us have any idea. I sliced my arm right now. It's bleeding red on this floor. It's the first thing we have in common. Second thing in common, if we ever were in a war, Let's say China started dropping from the sky tonight. Tell you what, when we all are heading to the landing zone, and I know a lot of my friends will be heading to the landing zone, and our girls will be having backpacks full of bandages and scissors and tape and all kinds of stuff, because that's the type of parents and grandparents we had. I'm going to tell you, when we're down there, we're not going to ask one of us, are you a Democrat or Republican? I can assure you this. And our country's way divided right now. We got a guy, young guy, just like this young man back here. We got this young man. He's a Republican. Do you know what our party has done to Matt the welder? They have tried to start a special election with Evan Powers. And guess what? We brought so much heat on the internet that on Monday, when they went to vote on this special election for Florida Agricultural Commissioner Wilton Simpson, they didn't even talk about it. They were so embarrassed. Okay? Last week, we have a Democrat cross the aisle to pass a bill saying if you change your name 365 days before the election, you aren't qualified. Why are they doing this? Because Matt the welder, and I want you all to understand this right now, I don't want to hear about rhinos or this and that. I want to tell you, I'm going to be turning 62 this April. And I went away for a vacation. I needed it badly. I went through 3 states, and I want to tell you, it balanced me when I came home. But what put me over the edge is when I had to stop at a Buc-ee's. I really want you all to know this right now, that I know people really mean good. There are some really good people in our world. But we have some people that I want to tell you that their head is not in the right place. They don't have a balance with God. They don't have a higher power. They've never done work on themselves to improve themselves. And I want to tell you right now, I've had many people ask me to run against Vanessa Oliver, and believe me, if my situation were different, I'm not even sure I would do that. I want you all to know this right now. It's really great to have you in here, young man, because you are why I do what I do. I have 2 nieces, I have a nephew, my beautiful girlfriend has a son and daughter, and I have some friends in this room who have sons and daughters. And they are going to eventually have grandchildren. But it's not the grandchildren that I'm doing this for, everyone. It is your great-grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren, all of our legacy. And I have to tell you right now, President Trump, I hope you hear this, because you actually know my mother, President Trump. Your Auntie Faye used to work for my mother as a volunteer at the Santa Monica Hospital. And if you saw my mother, you would know her in a heartbeat, Donald. I gotta tell you, you are wrong about the glyphosate. You are totally wrong about the phosphate too. It's a shame, because I gave Senator Al Britton, I gave the Peace River, Minnesota Regional Water Supply Authority, I gave 4 of my commissioners, I gave them the ticket to helping save these rivers, which is to make Mosaic build industrial wastewater facilities at each plant with reverse osmosis and put their toxic pollution in their own clay settling area. That would stop all discharging into the rivers, there would be no more need for an NPDES permit, National Pollution Discharging Elimination System. I gotta tell you, the cities and counties, yes, we need an NPDES permit. The commission will tell you, vice mayor will tell you, because when it rains, guess what? We're going to have water that's going to flow into our river, our creeks, and our streams, and they cannot catch and maintain all of it. Okay? But there's a big difference because I don't mean to jump here, but getting back to Manatee County, when they went to go give the vote and extend it, Commissioner George Cruz said, we're going to stop a private company from doing business. Mosaic isn't a private company, everybody. Mosaic trades on the stock exchange. Their ticker is MOS. Now, I'm going to wind this up here with you all because I want you to, it's a lot to digest. But just look at this. Forget all the pictures. I circle this whole area. You know what it is? It's toxic. If I take you in my car with my Geiger counter, as we're driving down the street, imagine Liz, you're going, Tim, it looks great. It's at 40. We're safe. Yeah. Tim, it's climbing to 80. It's 90. Tim, it's 110. Oh, the card says over 100. That's dangerous to our health. I'm not even stopped. I am in the car driving at 35 miles an hour. And it's picking up ratings like this. I could take you to the Hardy County Lakes Park where Matt the welder went. All I have to do, they went in there, we had a reading. We had the guy from the health department. He saw it was hotter than Chernobyl. He leaps back. Well, 2 weeks later we come back. All the children's equipment's gone. All the dirt's gone. It's all filled in with new stuff and new children's stuff. And I just want to tell you that I'm sick and tired of all this. And by the way, you guys, this is what this area looks like. All of our area, the circle is a big moonscape. And I just want you all to understand something. Remember, Mosaic passed the law, okay, so that if they build any housing developments out here, they can't be sued. Okay? I gotta tell you right now, truthfully, and I do mean this, Senator Ben Albritton, okay, I want to get back to these guys. This fella right here, this is Mr. Hank Coolman. This guy changed my life. I'm sitting in a chair, little guy, he gets up, DeSoto County, Tuesday, July 24, 2018, and this guy starts hammering Mosaic with all their fines, their facts. I'm on my phone, looking up all these things, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I never knew about this company. I didn't know what they were doing. But now the light bulb's going on in my head, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is why my canal doesn't look like the incredible aquarium it used to look like. And then I started really digging and digging. And then I got to share this with you. We got this fella here. This is Captain Paul the Nato. This guy is amazing. He actually saw the Peace River pure white in 1967 when he was a young boy. And imagine, I'm sure Mr. Polk saw it too, 1971, pure white. Okay, I can go fishing. Captain Al will go, take that rod, Timmy, and put that down there, wiggle around. See all that white? Tell your Mosaic boys it's down here. Like I'll tell the Captain Al, I'll let him know. Look at here. Look at who we got here up here fighting with Mr. Frank and me. Sheila's just amazing, everybody. This is up at Mulberry. Okay, here, this is John Coates. Here I am. There's Frank. There's Captain Paul. First three in line. Sheriffs. They took all the chairs, you guys, from the place. We have all these older, elderly people. It's like 85 degrees out there. I told him, I forget who, I met one of these other guys down in Lee County, his name will come to me. I said, listen, I don't know what you're doing, but I better see you put some chairs out like right freaking now, man, and I want some of these older people in the air conditioning. What's your problem? I said, I know your boss. I said, call him right now, tell him I'm here. And that day, this fella and I, he found out that I wasn't like the rest of them. And I could call him right now, and guess what? He's gonna pick up the phone. Now this gal is a treasure in our county. This is Yvette Sutter. She is the chairwoman of the March Against Mosaic Health Advisory Committee. I'd love to get Commissioner Teseo and Truex with a sit down with her. Ho, 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 and Dr. Chris would find out who had the knowledge. We were there to see Greg Stubbe's sheriff, our deputy at the time, Sidney Reuters, for 1 hour. After an hour, Sidney said, do you guys have more time? Yvette goes, well, of course we do. What do you need? She goes, I now have 2 more hours. 3 hours. I gave Reuters Joe documents from Mosaic. She taught her all about glyphosate and what it does to your stomachs and to our health. Here I come in like Muhammad Ali, man. I'm working on Joe, and then I step back, I'm doing the rope-a-dope, and then I let Yvette off the rope-a-dope. and anybody with a brain is gonna go, this is really bad. Why are we allowing it to happen?
So can you, for those that might be watching this, and we're gonna share it as much as we can, for those that don't know what it actually does to your health, can you list some of that? Because some of this actually reminds me of the case that Aaron Brockovich
That's what I was just gonna
worked
say.
on.
Sure.
And they were doing everything they can to hush it down and play it down. Can you tell us what exactly does this company do to people's health?
There are 4 main cancers associated with phosphate mining. How many of you ladies might know? There's bone, breast, brain, and liver cancers. You take those upside down, put a circle on each one, and you have a list. Let me tell you, look at that, everybody. That was Florida, 2018. This young lady here, Candy, she ran for Manatee County Commissioner. Unfortunately, Carol Whitmore beat her. Why? Because Carol had Mosaic's money behind her. Candy has 7 urns with her dogs. Guess what? Her mother died of brain cancer. Where did her mother live? Off the Peace River. Grew up in Sarasota. You know, it's just a terrible thing. But so to get what you're talking about. Okay, here.
Where's Aaron?
This was April 14th, 2024. This is off of Shell Creek. This is directly off of Shell. Let me tell you, when I tested it this day, it was so bad and the smell was so bad. It actually, even with my mask and stuff, it made me sick. Okay? And what I had to do is I had to wait, I think it was 7 or 8 days before I could go back, because the guy at the lab told me, listen, we might have to notify the health department and FDEP because it's so toxic and so bad. So when I went back with Captain Allen, it started sinking and it just missed the criteria. But I want to tell you what it cost to do those 2 tests. Total, it was almost $1,000. $1,000. And this stuff, what is it doing? It's sinking. And it's completely covering the bottom of the Peace River. And what is it doing? It's smothering all the sunlight. We have a world down there on the bottom. And this stuff, and I'm at the point where I gotta tell you, this is not, okay, this was the best thing the Charlotte County Commissioners, all 5 of them did together. And I'm almost positive now that Commissioner Truex and Teseo and Doherty and Constance probably said, you better do something, because if you don't, he's just gonna keep coming back to the chambers, and you gotta throw the guy a bone. Well, the only discussion was praise for Mosaic's most vocal opponent, Tim Ritchie, who begun March Against Mosaic more than 3 years ago. This is probably one of the greatest things to happen in Charlotte County, said Ritchie. By conserving our county, we are protecting our drinking and bathing water. This is what needs to happen. I'm gonna tell you guys, here's Northport rejects the DeSoto mine. Hey, there's our mayor, okay? Here we go. We're up at the DeSoto Phosphate workshop. Do you know how upset they were about it? Mosaic's attorney had the audacity to say, we've never had any environmental fines. We've not done anything bad. Well, attorney Rachel Curran, got up out of her seat, went up to the mic, bam, said, I'm not having any of it. And this is the problem, guys. And this is where it's all gonna get to the point where I gotta tell you this right now, okay? What I'm gonna say doesn't feel good, because Mosaic is not a feel-good topic, okay? But this thing where it starts in the county commissioners' chambers and ends, and starts in the city council and ends, and then gets kicked up, gotta tell you right now, we all need to be on Vanessa Grant Oliver's and Danny Nix's tail ends daily. Email every day. Telephone call every day. And we all need to get on Senator Albritton, because I want to tell you all right now, as much as I hate to admit this, and I really want to tell you, if we do not start holding our leadership accountable, how can we feel good when they're trying to keep Matt the welder from the ballot? How can we feel good when the current agricultural commissioner, Wilton Simpson, writes a check for $100,000 to the Republican Party of Florida? How can any of us feel good about this anymore? And frankly, I want you all to know this right now. If we do not, we all have to make this happen. Guys, I have gone for 8 years, hardcore. I'm one guy. There are other people. There's a gal on the East Coast, Stell Bailey. There's a guy, Pastor Scott Wilson. He's been exposing the straying of our lakes. Guys, our Republican Party has $1 million contracts with China for chemicals. There's gonna be a day where I have to tell you, we are all gonna have to tell you that when the election comes, write Matt the welder in. For agricultural commissioner, write it in there. Take your camera into the voting about things. The lady comes into the guy, what do you get out? This is my voting time. I want proof and evidence. I can't trust any of you anymore. And that's where we're at. When I see Buc-ee's, and I sit here and I say to myself, I look at that beautiful parcel of land, sacred land, wetlands, that is a birthing area for many, many species, and I see Chair Teseo up there because he owns gas stations, and I see Commissioner Doherty and Commissioner Truex, who are all builders and developers. It is time that every one of us, tonight, when you get home, start with each one of them, go, Dear Bill, I saw your dear friend, Mr. Tim Ritchie, and he told me to give you an extra kick right in between. This is what I expect from you from this day forward, or Mr. Ritchie has suggested we start a recall election for Chair Teseo, for Constance, for Truex, and for Doherty, because we don't have time to have them rubber stamp. Right now, as I'm speaking, in Bartow, Polk County, they're voting on 2,200 more homes. And lastly, let me wrap it up with this. Charlotte County DeSoto Building Association are not our friends. I am talking to you, Jaha, and I am talking to you, Sean Sewell, and I'm talking to you, Bill Truex. We are on to the charade. Okay? Why did this happen with Vanessa Oliver, truthfully? I'm going to tell you why. You want to know what's coming very soon? I know you're all going to say, we can't believe it, Tim. But I'm telling you, AI data centers are going to be coming to the city of Punta Gorda. And I want you all to understand right now, up in Fort Meade, okay, up in Fort Meade, everybody, we have a 4.4 million square feet, $2.8 billion data center going to be built up there where I was showing you all that lovely stuff. They say it's going to be 1,330 acres.
We only have the water for that.
So, I'm glad you said that, Miss Cat, because so you know what? For years, I've been telling the commission, I've been telling city council, I've been telling your arithmetic doesn't add up. Well, I'm like, listen, dum-dums. You don't take Polk, you don't take DeSoto, you don't take Hardy, you don't take Charlotte, you don't take Manatee. You're not adding it all up in Sarasota. You're not adding up what they're using daily and monthly. One permit in Mosaic, 70 million gallons a day. It is outrageous at this point in time, and really what we all need to understand is our quality of life. Go on YouTube, go look up old Florida, and go watch some old videos from the 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s, even the 90s. Your hearts will start to be like, and I want you to know this. There are other places in other states, because I'm now doing a study that have the same amount of people as the city, and then the county has the same amount of people, the same census. But these places were able to maintain that southern charm, that small town charm, that feel where when you're driving around, you don't have all the traffic. And I'm going to leave you all with this. I'm going to get there. I know this isn't going to sound nice because it's not nice. But, you know, I've talked to Senator Al Britton. I've talked to Rep. Danny Nix. And I couldn't get Rep. Vanessa Oliver to talk to me again. And
No wonder why.
I really want you to know, and I've had numerous talks with former Rep. Grant. Matter of fact, my last one, Mr. Bill was there for it with me. And I need you all to understand this. We cannot have Vanessa Grant Oliver reelected. We have to put an end to the Grant political machine. I would recommend everybody start, sorry, I gotta tell you this, do not buy a house from Chris Grant. Do not list your house with Chris Grant. Do not do give them no more business, because they have taken too much from Charlotte County and the city of Punta Gorda. And another thing, Chris Grant, my mom, remember what she said to you when you woke my mother up? I think it was 6:45 in the morning. Remember what she said? You were nervous. She wanted your home address, and you should have been. Because calling somebody at 6:45 in the morning, I don't want you all to know, it happened more than once. So at this point, same thing with Senator Albrecht. He's gonna head out to the Orange Grove, okay? But Mike Grant wants to run for his seat. The last thing we need, is Mike Grant and Senator and Vanessa Oliver in Tallahassee at the same time. So I'm going to take some questions and then we'll wrap it up. The lady Beauty first.
I'm older.
She's
I raised my
prettier.
hand for it.
So,
Kathy,
I've got a call at 8 I have
Okay,
to make.
so, from what I heard a long time ago, that Albritton was wanting to be the governor. Wilton Simpson was gonna run again for commissioner, agriculture commissioner. I don't know if that's still in play, but that's what I have heard. That's what I heard a couple years ago.
Well, I think Senator Albritton is going off to the Orange Grove.
Okay, so what's gonna go on with Matt the Welder? Cause I mean,
Matt the Welder's gonna win, cause we're going to get Matt elected,
I've
Kathy.
always heard that if you do a write-in, it's not gonna be good.
At this point, I wanna tell you, do I believe there's fraud in the election? Yeah. Do I think they can manipulate election machines? I sure do. And at this point, I'm gonna tell everybody, if Matt the Welder is not our next Florida State Agricultural Commissioner, then there is major fraud going on in the elections. And you know what?
Well, we know that, but is there something we can do?
Yes, we're gonna get on that in a minute. Mr. Commissioner.
I apologize because we got a call thing I gotta do at 8. I felt bad, you mentioned the other 4 guys' names and you left mine out. And the reason why he didn't tell you, there was one vote against Bucky's going in
Yes, that
up
was the
there.
commission.
And it wasn't just because we were gonna put 100 gas pumps on the water. On the other side, they were gonna put a zillion houses and wetlands that didn't belong there either. That's part of the whole package. I have to go, we gotta do this.
Listen, thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate you
Thank you for
coming. You
coming,
know that.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Ms. Ness, for coming. Really, and please thank Scott.
We gotta do it at 8 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I will, sir. Thank you, Ms. Ness. Thank you. How are we gonna get Matt elected? Okay, I will send you an email where he has this lady we need to call. We need to keep writing about these bills. I don't know what to say to everybody except this, okay? I have a couple buddies of mine and they are old guard Republican. You know, I told them the other day, I know what you call me behind my back. It's okay. I said, you call me a rhino. I said, but I want to tell you, I fought harder for you and your wife than anybody you've ever given a donation to, bud. I go, I'm out there doing it daily. You know, I gotta tell you, being an environmental advocate is not very glorious. I want to tell you guys right now, it's not a lot of fun. And your family feels like you're not totally there for them. But I have to tell you, my girlfriend finally, she's realizing the other day when President Trump signed that thing to make glyphosate safe. That was when the light bulb really went off. And I'm telling you all right now, you know, I still love Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nobody's gonna make me dislike her. We have some really good people out there. And we also have some very bad actors, starting with Evan Powers. Evan Powers, do you think Evan Powers could sit down and have a real conversation with anyone in this room?
no.
Okay? All we get from these guys is fluff. So what are we going to do? That gets back to you, Kathy. What are we going to do?
Okay. I tried to get a hold of Matt today. His wife is now taking care of his business apparently. Josie is no more.
I didn't know that.
Well, this is what Josie told me apparently. So I am trying to put together an event at the fairgrounds. Matt the Welder, Bobby Williams, and we have a few more candidates
State level candidates, yeah.
that Carl and I are trying to get. And,
Excellent.
And they're not big names like Byron Donalds that's gonna draw a big, you know, those kind of names is what brings the people.
Yeah, but is Byron Donalds the guy we really need?
No,
Is
I'm
he-
not saying that.
No, I know.
I know, I'm not, believe me, everybody knows my feelings about that.
We're good.
I know, I am for our REC, but, you know, anyways, so I've always said, I did the Charlie Kirk thing, that was huge, that's cause it was Charlie Kirk. You know, you bring in General Flynn's name, that's huge, you bring people in. Donald Trump, I did the inauguration at Twisted Fork, that's Donald Trump, that brought in people. But people don't know Matt the Welder's name over here, they don't know Bobby Williams over here.
No, I agree with you.
So it's going to take a village to get the
Yeah.
name out.
And it's a multi-county event that's gonna be hosted by a state level PAC to help grassroots candidates. And so I would love to invite you to come speak at it as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna reach out to DeSoto County, Sarasota County, Lee County, to come and participate with their local candidates.
We already have a few candidates
Yes.
already in
Yeah.
mind.
And
So-
it's grassroots, America First type candidates that are not about the establishment, that are gonna be available.
You just hit it on the head. Yes, sir.
Years ago, I was involved with the, environmental, basically, save the overdevelopment. It didn't work, I slowed them down a little bit, but I was okay. But a lot of times, and this is what I don't understand now, you, Stanley, just gave an argument, they're poisoning our water. Why can't a court or a judge or somebody shut them down?
They're talking
We're-
this part system.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
It's just like the J6ers.
So what can we
the
do
same
to
thing
help
happened.
the organization and get behind this, and get it more out to the people?
Here's the one
Because,
thing. For me,
I'd like to round it up with,
I'm not a 501c, I'm just private citizen. As they say to me, well, who are you? I'm a Citizen Waters Arc, founder and president of March Against Mosaic. I do want you guys to hear this before we go, because Mosaic's attorney said to me, he goes, I wanna know what the corporate structure of March Against Mosaic is. We've searched everywhere for your bank account, we can't find it. I said, well, Super Attorney Perko, I kinda like the way that Grammy Hilliard ran her bridge club at the church, and that's how we run it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you both of
Councilmember.
you so much for coming. I said there is no bank account. We don't operate that way. So the best thing we can do is like this, inviting me to come, coming to speak here, reaching out at people. I mean, look at this. We have a candidate from Manatee County, drove all the way down here. Thank you so much, Matthew. Seriously. And I'll call Matt when I leave here. I'll call him with you. We'll call him so we can get on this.
I did talk to him
You gotta
once.
get together.
I would like, and we ought to have Captain John come speak,
Yep,
even, okay?
yep, I've got his info.
John Fleming.
John Flynn, oh, yes, we wanna
Well,
have
we
John
already
Flynn.
we got the locals taken care of.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
Because I have to tell you, Vanessa and Danny and Ben,
Yeah, we want them too.
they're not gonna take, they just think that they own us all,
I know.
okay? And you do not own us, okay?
But one problem that I keep bringing up is it doesn't matter how many people we get out to vote if the people counting the votes are corrupt.
Well,
Well,
That's
at
the
the present,
problem.
at the present time, it is absolutely so. It's not the vote itself that counts, it's who counts it.
That's
It's
right.
exactly
That's
like
right.
Stalin.
Because I don't care what they say, they stole that election from
And
Bill Page.
we have
They stole
to change those
Look
people.
where the machines come.
yeah, you know what, I'm all very sorry, I did not get to cover one city council member in Punta Gorda, and I have to cover, we have a divider on the dais.
Yeah.
Her name, I'm not gonna say her name.
Now, we all know.
She is a divider. Not only that, she is very unprofessional on Nextdoor. She's attacking local residents. I mean, imagine you're an elected official and you tell somebody, oh, Tony, you are a capital POS. I mean, and then not only that, she had my own mother's water utility account researched and looked up to without a court order, any verbal or written notification. And this is a whole nother thing. And she's polluted the mind of one of our other city council members.
Yep.
And I just, it's so upsetting to me because we all worked
Yep.
so hard
Yeah.
to get all of them elected. And I mean, a lot of us.
He was unknown, just like the rest of them. And, you know, to vote a mayor out who's been there for years,
That was a big deal.
that's a big deal. I mean,
And we just,
figured that out.
but the best thing is, I want to tell you, this has been a really great meeting. Everybody, the energy here has been great. And I think
Thank you.
we all need to stay in touch and really grow, because the only way we're going to get things to improve, we don't want changes, we want improvements. There's a big difference in change and improvements. And we want improvements, but they don't want to give them to us.
Tell a quick story about Mr. Grant when we were outside the verdict.
Okay.
Was this recent?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was right after.
2 months ago?
2 months ago, Vanessa and Danny on the water thing, and Mike Grant walks up and he says, oh, something like this, oh, Mr. Ritchie, you're such a handsome guy and a sharp dresser. I told you, you know, you've got those little things on the back of your coat, you need to take a razor blade and cut them and to pull them out. And I said, what's going on in here with all this? He's like, well, you know, and I said, and Mosaic. He goes, oh, we've got to support Mosaic because, you know, we want to support making the roads with radioactive. And Mr. Bill over here said, sir, no we don't, that's radioactive material. Mike Grant said, have a nice day, gentlemen. Bang.
And he was gone.
He was gone. So, listen again, thank you.
I'd like to thank you very much for
Thank
a
you.
fabulous and very informative meeting. We always give a gift to
All right.
our speaker, so I hope you enjoy the book.
I love reading.
Anybody that want to help out with Tim's work, contact him directly or contact We the People Club on our website at wethepeoplecc.org, and that goes for any county that you may be in out there. We need people like Tim, and I'm so happy that you agreed to come in and do this presentation. I could not even begin to understand half of what you were talking about earlier.
Well, I'll be happy to go over with you
know, this
anytime,
is-
anybody, just so you
This
know.
here is something that we have to push back on, and we're up against the establishment. We're up against multi-billion-dollar corporations that are literally destroying in almost, I would say, white-collar terrorist attack on our environment and our next generation, and we have to get them to stop.
Yeah, we do.
I mean,
we do.
there's such a thing as terrorism, international terrorism. We have to push back. We have a duty to push back against foreign and domestic terrorists, whether they are doing it indirectly through our waters and destroying our lives that way, or they're pulling the trigger.
On our land or our air. All
Exactly.
three, remember,
We have
air,
to
and
put
water.
a stop to them, and it doesn't matter what their last name are or how established they are. They need to be voted out or they need to be investigated. And I'm so happy we have people like you that actually educate us on
It's
this
been a
matter.
long march.
Yes. So thank you so much. Thank you to Tim Ritchie.
Mary, I give you some advice. Film this, what you're seeing. Go down that road there with a guide gun, with a radiation. Educate the people. Because believe me, once you get the people behind you, things will change.
Thank you.
But they don't know anything about this.
No,
What's going on?
Sir?
I have a quick question. It sounds like a wise ass question, but it's not. How do you deal with frustration? You must be frustrated, ready to explore. Seriously, how do you deal with what you see going on? It's like banging your head against the wall. It has to be frustrating. You have your meditation. What the hell you do?
His girlfriend.
Drugs?
Meditation, God. I think about my grandfathers a lot. My one grandfather was a DO, and and he used to make his medicine all natural. And my other grandfather was a lieutenant commander who was at Pearl Harbor and Midway and Battle of Coral Sea. My uncle was went into Vietnam, a lieutenant, came back a captain. And just, you know, I had some great teachers when I was a kid in junior high. Mr. Vincent, Mr. V, Mr. Charles Newcomb. He was a sergeant in the Marines. Yeah, you know, and then some of the people, the men in my neighborhood, like the gentleman who lived across from my mom and dad. His name was Roy Travis. He was a professor at UCLA Music. Also, next door was Mickey Coolidge. He has multiple records from California to Hawaii and back on catamarans, trimarans. He was a really cool dude. He had a 90-foot, it's still down at California Yacht Club. It's called the Mako. The hull's pure black, Captain John. This thing was incredible. So, you know.
I'd like to thank you for coming again.
Thank you.
And anytime you wanna come back and give us a quick update on it,
Sure, I would
you're more
appreciate
than
it.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good night, everybody.